5:30, we'll call the meeting to order. It's the Town of Bourne Board of Health meeting for
Recording in progress.
March 26th, 2025. Zoom chat is active, will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise the hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. Note this meeting is being televised and recorded by Bourne Community TV for replay. If anyone in the audience is also recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. All items within the meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes by the Board of Health.
Hi, I'm recording. This is Jamie Perkins from the Enterprise.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Ann, would you mind closing the door for us, please? Okay, so first item on the agenda is to attendance. Miguel Prieto.
Here.
Dusty Meyer.
Yes.
Barbara Princiotti.
Here.
Bob Collette here. Margaret Reale is absent this evening. Okay, so first item for discussion, agenda number item 2, 586 Shore Road. An application for approval of a preliminary subdivision plan. And we'll have a discussion and potential vote on comments to be submitted to the planning board. Is anybody here for this project this evening? Sir, would you like to step up to the podium and state your name for the record, please?
I have some boards. Would you prefer to set those up first?
Yes, that'd be great, thank you.
Where would you like, where do you normally have them put?
Right here in the middle
Here in
would
the
be
middle?
great. So my old eyes can focus as best as possible. And everybody else's for that matter.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Well, mine are just starting to grow on me. It's like it was sudden and I'm really upset about it because I've always been,
Excellent
yeah,
eyes.
unbelievable, yeah.
You don't notice if it's slow, progressive.
It was kind of sudden for me, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for you?
Yeah.
So I have old eyes too, so I got some smaller colored plans.
Yeah.
Because I can't see from that far.
Well, I know I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here, if you want to pass one.
All right. Katie, do you need one of these to stamp in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoops.
Good evening. My name is Mike Carter from GCG Associates. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. Well, the owner couldn't make it tonight because of a commitment. And I'm not sure if Peter Zaka, his attorney, is on Zoom. He also had meetings tonight. I don't know if you could tell that or not.
Don't see him right now.
Don't see him right now, okay. So the parcel is 586 Shore Road. If you're looking at this big overall color plan, it's just, I need to stand there and do this.
It's okay,
Turn that.
as long as everybody can hear well.
Yeah.
The bay is right here. This is Shore Road right here. 586 it used to be an old school. Basically, if you look on this plan, you'll see there's a bunch of buildings. It's two parcels, actually. One parcel has frontage on Shore Road, and then the tracks run right through the middle of it, and the second parcel is along the bay. On the parcel along the bay, that's about 4 acres plus or minus, has two buildings on it. One is the main building right here at the bottom. You see it's got a reddish roof.
Yep.
And then over here is another house. And then you can see, if you look at it, you see both. On this parcel, there's a whole bunch of buildings that were part of the school. So the applicant is proposing, we've submitted a preliminary subdivision. There's some things that we're gonna have to work through with the town. Basically, it has access from Shore Road, goes in a driveway to the buildings located on here. And also Briarwood Lane, if you're familiar with it, there's an old little wooden bridge.
Mhm.
If you want me to speed up and you know all this.
No, not everybody necessarily
Okay.
knows, yeah.
So if you go over here, Briarwood Lane comes across right here, and then it goes, it's a road that services these houses down here. And also, there is access right here at the end on the 40-foot layout to this parcel. because technically this parcel is landlocked, and he happens to own both the parcels, and there's a crossing right here across the railroad tracks. And I bring that up because that's some part of our overall plan that we're trying to figure out. It's not necessarily a Board of Health issue, but in order to hopefully do what we want to do, it will need some help with the Board of Health. So those are the two parcels. The proposed project, which is this colored sheet, proposes basically, what we're trying to do is connect, this follows the existing roadway going in. And then right now, you can drive on a gravel road over to Briarwood Lane. The bridge is small, if you've been across it. Emergency vehicles cannot get across it. Landscaping trucks, anything bigger than basically probably an F-250, it's pretty tight if you haven't driven across it.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is, there is no permanent right of access from this end. It all belongs to the owner. So what he's considering doing in this subdivision is trying to make a connection. So, because I know, my understanding from him, if he was here tonight, he would probably tell you that the trash trucks come in this way, fire trucks, ambulances, the landscape people, because they can't go across the bridge due to its width and its weight limit. So in doing that, you'll see on the plan that we've asked for, we would need some sort of relief for some of the local bylaws for a septic system. And I will go over that in a few minutes, but I wanted to give you the big picture. The intent is to try to do this. We could not do this and build a subdivision with 3 lots here and not require all these relief, I guess is the best way to put it. But that's not the intent. The intent is to do this at this point. So with respect to the Board of Health, if you look on this plan, the yellow is where we would have conceptually where a septic system would go. The material out there is nice sandy, less than 2 minutes an inch. So on the parcel on the Shore Road side, it's pretty easy. They're all over an acre lot, or 40,000 square feet, all upland, be single bedroom, single family homes. The more complicated part is the part that's along the bay. So basically, as I said, there's 2 houses. If you look at the houses that are shaded, the lighter brown, I guess is the best way to call it on your plan, those are the 2 existing structures. They're actually single family homes. The big one that was along closer to the bay was at one point a conference center, part of the school. And they converted it into single family home. So in order to, in this scenario, we have septic systems that are yellow for what's known as Lot 8. And then if you look at the Lot 7, which is the bigger home, it's a different shade. It's a green shade. That's an existing septic system. And actually, I realized I didn't color one of the other septic systems for this existing house. It's actually right in the driveway.
Which one is it? The big one?
Yeah, this big one septic
Yeah.
system is in this area right here.
Yeah, and where do those 2 little buildings go to?
These are
I
actually,
see it with the dot, that's why I'm asking. The green dot covers both of them at once. Yeah, that big one, yes.
that's another single family home, actually. It's been there as part of the school. Now it's a single family home. I can't say what it was.
Does that have a septic, or are you putting
It
one?
does have a septic. If you look really close, it's such a
Are you referring to what is labeled as maintenance house?
yeah, it's labeled as maintenance house, yes.
And that's an actual
It's
residence,
actually-
though?
Yeah, that's actual residence, I'm sorry. And I will change that, that's one of the comments we got for the preliminary, to label them as single-family homes, like, the big building is called the conference.
Yeah,
Because we started this, I don't know, when he bought it, quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't update that, so I apologize. So these are single-family homes.
And what's the little square next to it?
This is a garage, it's attached, actually. I didn't shade in the portico, I don't know if that's the right term, but.
Does that have service, any kind of service, water or anything, or what's in that garage?
Yes. Well, there's a garage, I'd have to ask the owner of that, I'm
All
not
right,
sure.
okay.
Okay. So there's a septic basically for this, right in this area right here, and there's a septic for this house right in this area here.
Okay.
So, and if you look on the plan, it's kind of a dashed black line. It's what we call it's the resource area for coastal bank for the bank. If you follow that line around, kind of goes up here. This is a big depression right in here. Probably was, I'm hypothetically guessing, when they built the railroad, I'm sure they took some gravel out of there or something. It's you can see it's been excavated. It doesn't really follow the natural contour. So this is the resource area follows that heavy dashed line, and your regulations require a 150-foot setback from any resource area. So if you look at that blue line, that's on your plan, that blue line is the 150-foot setback from the
I don't see a blue line.
The highlighted.
the highlight.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, so you can see that not much of this 4-acre parcel has area outside of your resource area.
Although it looks like the existing Lot 7 is in the resource area from the way mine's drawn. Am I missing something?
No, it's not.
Like, where are you measuring this from, 150 feet from?
So if you see this heavy line right here,
Oh, yeah,
that's the
okay.
bank, okay? And then this.
Sorry, I
That's
was-
okay, and then
I
that
was
little
confused
dashed
with
line
color.
is the 100-year floodplain.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you're measuring from that, okay.
So the vegetation out there in this area, it's all treed. It's been there for many, many years.
Right.
So from the septic standpoint, obviously the existing house, the two existing houses, they are, their septics are inside the 150-foot already today. What we were proposing to do if we go in this scenario would be to rebuild the septic for the existing house. And then also for what's known as Lot 8, the one way on the right, the septic would be that little yellow that would be inside the 150-foot. And then also for the lot on the left, to try to get away, as far away from the resource areas, we would propose that we create easements and put the septic over where the purple is on the diagram. Purple highlight. Is that purple and magenta? Pink. So that's, from the Board of Health standpoint, those are the things that I'm aware of at this point. There may be other things that I am not aware of that we would have to discuss further, but.
I'm sorry, could you repeat what the purpose of the purple?
So this lot right here, Lot 8,
Right.
Above it there.
what we're trying to do is put a,
That's 6 over there.
I'm sorry, 8's here, 6 here, thank you.
Yeah.
I did say. Lot 6, we're trying to put the septic over here outside the 150-foot buffer, but it would just require easements across the lots to do that.
Even across everybody's lot?
Well, just, yeah, across the front, across lots, yes. 8, 7, and into,
So you'd have to pump
And
across.
straight through the
Okay.
and straight through the resource, what's this, the green, like, what's all, straight through, like, it's all gonna be in the flood zone, everything?
no work is in the floodplain. Actually, what controls this site is the bank, coastal bank is the furthest upland.
Yeah, well, I'm saying our resource area, sorry. I should have said
Your
resource
100
area.
foot, yes, your 150, yes.
And then what about this 15-foot wide pavement, you're proposing to put that in?
Yes. You're talking about the road that?
Yeah,
This is a connector road that would allow access to Briar Lane. It would create a 40-foot layout, which would become a public layout, so that police, fire, and the residents that live there can have access. He currently allows it to continue. My understanding is that at some point, I think before the school took it over, the Archdiocese owned it, and they had it blocked off. I can't speak to the timing of that, but people use it at this point in time, especially the trash and anything that's bigger than call it an F-250.
Yeah.
So we're just starting the process. We're trying to figure out what's the best solution. I mean, that it benefits, obviously, the developer. This is pretty easy. These are A&R lots, and this is more complicated because it involves a lot of people and a lot of different, some sort of relief to do this.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Quick-
Questions?
Yeah,
Board?
couple of questions. All of those older structures, except for the community building, are they coming down?
So all the structures that are on this side, and if you look, there's a lot of there's like cottages that they used to
Correct,
have.
I was up there this morning.
They're all gonna go, on this railroad tracks up, they're all gonna go.
so demolishing everything that we see there. Like, everything that's on that property now is just gonna be gone,
No,
like clean
from
slate?
From Shore Road to the railroad tracks, all those buildings will go. From the railroad tracks to the bay, this house is not gonna go. And what I have labeled as the maintenance house, which I believe is the caretaker's house, that won't go either at this point.
So the only two you're keeping is the thing that says maintenance and the
Yeah.
thing that says lot 7.
Yeah, Conference, yeah.
I also noticed, is there a right-of-way to the water there with a boat ramp and not a boat ramp, boat float? I
dock?
noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, so if you go back to this point, yeah, it's not a right-of-way, that's his own private.
Okay, so he's gonna utilize the bottom half near the water and make the lots above it, above that roadway, up to Shore Road, sellable or buildable.
Buildable lots, yes, there's, exactly, yes. So
But he's
you're talking
proposing
about
an
lots
extra
1
lot
through
here.
5?
Well, see, that's my problem too, that lot 6.
Yep.
To pipe that all the way over there, the elevations, I walked it, and you're gonna pump uphill, not much, all the way over to the lot 8, correct?
Correct, that's our tenant, right now, that's just our conceptual plan.
Like with a shared septic system?
Right now, it's gonna be individual ones, but that's something that, we haven't gone down that path. We're just trying to get big picture squared away so we can design, but it could very well be. It might be the better idea.
Okay. I just have a question for you. Do they have is there any other access to the water, like any other right-of-ways that we should be thinking
I
about?
did not notice anything,
You know,
the back of these existing houses, of course, you can walk,
Yeah.
but there's a small wall, and they'd have to,
Yeah, because I guess I'm wondering, should anybody else have been notified that has a, for this meeting?
he owns them all.
No, but just anybody else that may have a right-of-way through the property that should have been notified for
So
this
for this,
meeting?
for this
That's-
meeting, nobody needs to know.
Okay, all right, that's all I was
This
just,
is just a preliminary
Okay.
subdivision review, it's not the actual
okay.
submission. It's
Yeah.
just kind of get an idea of what departments that would be involved in this would need, what they don't like, what they need to see. So that way, before they do their definitive plans, before they spend all this money, they kind of have an idea.
Oh, perfect,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
I just wanted to just
One
double
thing I
check.
could say that, based upon my information from the attorney who's done all the title and all this when they bought it, that, you know, the people that, from Briarwood, do not have legal rights to use this driveway that's there at this point. Based upon his title research, and the old railroad plans, there's nothing there that gave them that right when they built that. Basically, they created a long dead end, just happened to abut this property. And they actually, if you think about it, in creating Briarwood, this lot is down here, it's landlocked. So they actually created Briarwood to connect to here too.
Yeah, I noticed back at the, coming in Briarwood Lane or whatever it is, they had no trespassing at a certain point. What looks like it was an old gate there at one time.
And that's
And that is, from this point on, is your dark.
right. And I think that's what the owner said, that at one point, one of the previous owners, I'm not sure who, I won't say because I don't want it to become public, I'll get in trouble. That was closed for a long period of time, and then it got opened at some point. I don't know when and where, but he could probably.
Well, I know why, because the trucks couldn't come down and get the rubbish, anything of that nature, and they probably told them that comes out, the gate part comes out, because we have a small truck that specializes in these tight areas,
Yep.
and it happened to be trash day today when I was there, and all the blue soldiers were out there.
Yeah, because that brings up a good point, Dusty. Like, even, let's just say lot 6 or, and I'm just speaking out loud here, 6 or 8. Now, if the guy, because most subdivision plans, they don't allow these dead ends. Usually they make sure, because if an emergency vehicle has to get in there, it can't
That's
get
the
out.
fire department.
I know, but I'm just talking out loud for even if something happens to this septic, or even this septic, like, even if it's like a disaster, like you've got to get down there, emergency services, like, who knows, something could be, there's no egress out for, like no other way to get to this lot or this lot unless you come all the way here, go through here. Like, what happens if there's an emergency with the system? And let's just say the people are on vacation, or this person, or whatever, there's an accident right here. There's no other way to get down there. Like to me, I think we should have concerns about that lot 8 and 6, because the guy has, I mean, he can always be, you know, like, I think it needs like some sort of egress, because what if there is some, I'm speaking out loud.
No, that's okay.
Because that to me is a safety issue for the, if something happens.
Well, if you saw the roadway that's going up to Shore Road,
Yeah,
my pickup truck,
yeah.
it has to be widened, but that's the
Yeah.
planning board. They're gonna make
Yeah,
them
no, I'm just
do a
talking about
number
us,
of
like, I
things.
know they'll take care of that, but just the stopping immediately,
Well, maybe I could clarify.
yeah.
So
And I haven't been down there, so,
you're
you
saying,
know,
no,
I
so
mean,
you're
I'll
saying, so
probably just take a
our
drive.
road comes in here and then
Yeah.
goes this way, and it's not really stopping here, it's connecting to the existing Briar Road.
Oh, okay, it
So
sounds like I should go down there.
This becomes
with
actually,
Dusty.
for a car,
Yeah,
it becomes
I'll show you a
Yeah.
way to get
becomes a
it.
loop, that they can do this.
okay, that's fine, I'll take a ride down
Yeah.
and get a visual myself with Dusty, I'll go with Dusty, or
I
someone
would
else.
definitely take the first entrance with the new
Okay.
bridge and go
Yeah.
in that way.
I'll take a ride down there, I just didn't realize, I thought this was like the end of it, the road stopped. Have you thought about putting in a private sewer, like a private system there, the sewer system, septic or whatever?
You mean a shared one?
Yeah, like
Uh,
like a private, yeah, like it's.
Yeah,
like
no,
your
we
own
haven't,
private
we're
sewer.
just trying to get, our bigger concern is this right of, I think the first concern we have is the right of way, then, I mean, ideally, you know, we'd have to jack, if we wanted to do that, we jacked underneath the tracks, which it can be done.
Yeah.
I do it not often, but occasionally in my career, and you got plenty of room over here for a septic field.
The other thing, Lot 6, I definitely don't feel comfortable with a house on that. The square footage, does that meet our, what is the actual square footage after you put a house on there?
The whole lot itself
It says six,
is 62,000 square feet. That lot is,
You can't
but Upland's
count
15.
the
the upland
upland.
is less than the,
Yeah, it's
what's
15
required.
to 81.
Correct.
That's
because
one of these things that we're
That's
gonna-
quite a hollow in there.
Oh, it is. We
Yeah.
looked at, and the hollow is a flood, if you look at it, this is in the floodplain here.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked at, and historically, when it was done, and
Yeah, so that would probably, like with the basically, you might get a variance for the lot size, but but with the lot size and the, how many feet is that from here to here?
Yeah, that's
a-
what, a
that's
couple
probably-
hundred?
That'd be a tough one to sell to me, I'd say.
with the length of the forest main.
Well, no, but if you were even considering pumping from Lot 6 to Lot 8, how many feet are you?
Just say two,
It's like
it's almost like
1,000.
400 feet. That's
Then
not
you'd
that
have
far.
to get a variance as you pass each lot,
Yeah, and that, I understand that.
an egress,
Yep.
okay? I honestly don't feel comfortable with Lot 6 at all for any structure.
Well, so honestly, there's a scenario that this structure right here stays, and that doesn't go in. Is that too bright?
Yeah, that
Oh,
kills me.
Sorry, it's a new one, it's brand new, you're the first people,
Ah.
so maybe I'll just keep it in my thing. I
Okay,
won't turn it on, all right, I'm sorry. So another scenario is that we keep this and we keep this and we rebuild this septic here when it fails or whatever. And I understand your concern and we're trying to work through that with this.
they're gonna be
multiple-
facing IA systems.
Yeah,
I mean,
I get it. That's what you would want in that close to a resource area.
Correct.
Actually, we're in your resource area,
Yeah.
not even close.
in a new road. Anybody else?
I was gonna ask about the distance myself, so.
It's too far to pump, you know, and not create problems, to me,
Mhm.
because your elevations, you're gonna have to sink that awful low up on Lot 8 to keep, so when you pump, you don't have any obstructions, so.
So 400, I do this all the time.
Yeah, I know, I can realize that, but
400 feet is
came
not.
from an installer, I wouldn't want that job, I guarantee it.
It's, you know, I've been creative in my career where I've had 8 fields on one lot and pumped 1,500 feet with each force main, and if the place was built 25 years ago, yeah, after 95. And it works. I mean, it's not ideal. I totally agree with you. It's not
It's
your
not
cookie
ideal
cutter.
at all.
It's not like these lots where it's, okay, here's the house, septics are probably in the front yard,
Yeah.
and that is, the intent is to, we're trying to gather as much to figure out what the best direction is to proceed.
What's Katie got to say?
Nick, Katie, do you have any comments on this one?
So, I mean, from a Board of Health perspective, we definitely want to let them know that any of those systems that would be requiring variances would require Board of Health hearings. And then anything that you guys would typically require for such a variance, like IA systems. And then, you know, I'm not sure of the actual distance, also these are, you know, hypothetical septic systems, so we're not sure if those are the exact locations. But that you guys do also have your hydrogeologic study requirement for anything that's within 100 feet of the resource area as well. So that's something that they should be thinking about, that a hydro study would be needed for any systems that are within 100 feet of the coastal bank. Also, in regards to lot 6, as you guys have mentioned, it's, you know, it's not a cookie cutter lot. It's not what we're used to seeing. It's not the easiest sell. But we have to remember that, you know, it is a lot that they are proposing to create. So they are proposing their own restrictions here. And is that something the board is comfortable with granting a variance for? Variances for new construction are given out as, you know, a last resort, that it would mean that you're making that lot unusable for the owner, and that's why we're gonna grant that variance. They are in fact creating this lot themselves. They're choosing to make it this small in the coastal bank, so that's something you want to think about. Perhaps you want to see that they can fit a conventional system on that lot to service the house, and if they can do that, then maybe you would consider granting a variance for an easement, but to show that the proposed lot can handle the utilities that are required for a house. Other than that, I don't think I have any other comments.
Yeah, I personally share Dusty's concerns for, as it relates to lot 6. I'm not sure he could meet all the requirements, Title V and local regulations. So,
You could make a shared amenity lot, and then, you know, that way you'll increase the value of all those other houses. You'll make more money off that probably than you would on lot 5.
The lots along the shoreline, I believe, they're gonna be for the family. They
Yeah.
get,
Oh, okay.
that's the intent today.
Oh, so they plan on keeping this and selling those, okay.
Yes. Could I ask a question?
Go
So
ahead.
the maintenance house, that's labeled maintenance on it, that has an existing septic system. How would that be allowed? Because it's definitely, it's basically the same as lot 6. You know, we don't have anywhere outside the 150 foot. Well, we would just do the best we can, IA systems, and try to keep it as far away. Because that system is it's right where that driveway that you drove down, going parallel with the tracks, it's right there. You probably drove half over it.
Oh, I did.
Excuse me, Katie, do we have those systems on record? Or are they just systems that have been in there?
Those are very, very old systems.
So those systems
yeah.
might not even be they might have just been put in, so they might, if,
We have some, we actually contacted the
data,
Board
yeah.
Yeah.
Board of Health, and we were able to get some.
you'll
what
have to
we could.
review these
But
with us
in-
again too, I would
Also
think.
speaking to that, Barbara, is that, you know, any upgrade that was done here was done to an existing dwelling, so it's not
Oh, yeah,
considered new
okay.
construction, that's why it was granted.
Okay,
And.
I see.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's typically why this is, so now that they're subdividing the lot, everything on these new lots is all new construction and must meet the
Yeah.
requirements of Title V.
and then I think the only thing then, if the maintenance house in lot 7 is existing, you know, we don't know, we'd have to find out about the garage too, because we wouldn't want to make, we'd probably have to research the garage too, to see, one, if you, like, when it was put in and how where those utilities are going, if there's stuff in it.
Yeah,
We
and
just have
if
to
they're
check that out.
proposing to redo that septic system for lot 7,
We're trying to figure
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
all
That'll
out,
all
to
be
because I
honest.
mean, if you're gonna keep both houses on that lot, you know, it might make sense to make both those houses on one system, so
Yeah,
Yeah, and then put it in the middle where there's a big.
further distance from, yeah.
Well, it
Still with
would be closer to
Yeah.
resource area, but it would be a better location.
Yeah.
okay, thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
okay. Any other questions, comments? Anybody on the Zoom call that would like to chime in? Okay.
All right,
Thank you, I
so much.
appreciate.
Appreciate it.
Good
Good
luck
luck.
with the
All
plan.
right,
We'll be back.
I'm sure you will.
Before you do
Well,
close, is there
yeah.
anything specific that you guys want to provide as comment to planning board, or,
Sure. I think we have some stuff here we should. I think they should be required for a percolation test for all proposed lots. Reviewing any septic designs, prior to reviewing any septic designs. And to be sure that any and all proposed septic systems are required to meet all requirements of the Bourne Board of Health septic regulations and Title V for new construction. Any systems requiring a variance will need to submit a variance request packet and be heard by the Bourne Board of Health for approval. And occupancy of any and all dwelling units will be contingent upon septic requirements being complete. Okay. And then, Bourne Board of Health will not permit a septic system that requires an easement on a separate lot because it cannot meet all requirements of Title V otherwise for new construction. The applicant must show that a full conventional septic system and a reserved leaching area adequately designed to service the proposed dwelling could fit on the proposed lot.
Okay, thank you so much.
Fair enough? Thank you, sir.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, Dan Barrett, General Manager of IceWim, to discuss a possible vote on topics regarding a new site assignment for a large handling facility at the IceWim location at 201 MacArthur Boulevard. Mr. Barrett.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dan Barrett. I'm the General Manager of the Integrated Solid Waste Management Facility. I'm handing out some additional information that I thought would be good for you guys to see tonight as we're going to be getting into the site assignment. This is just a schedule. Hopefully, but never really hits it. Do our best.
Thank you.
Go. You're welcome. If it's okay with you guys, I thought I would start out with what I just handed out. That's a preliminary schedule based on a submittal date to DEP of our site assignment package. Start out with, we're looking to site assign the 12-acre parcel to the very south of the facility. I don't know if you folks have been up there lately, but we've done a lot of work up there since getting the permit. The good news is, or the permits, the good news is we don't have to go through MIPA. That was, this 12 acres was permitted with that. Cape Cod Commission is done. We still have some conditions that we have to meet as we go forward, things we can't do until these other projects are done. And DEP will conclude, they've already a site, they haven't given us site suitability, but they've agreed with our site assignment policy and moving through the permitting thus far. So hopefully on April 18th, we'll have our package ready to go. We have all the boxes checked for the site suitability criteria. It's a little bit different than the landfill. The general criteria is pretty much exactly the same as the landfill, so it was a little easier for us to put this together. There are some different criteria for our large handling facility. This won't be a general, which it would be for landfilling. We can't and won't be landfilling out there. So we thought it was not necessary to apply for a landfill permit. What you're going to see on this 12-acre parcel is all of our infrastructure that has to get moved as we expand the landfill. Our offices need to go pretty much right away. And by the way, Asa Mintz, the operations manager, those of you guys who know landfills know that the operations manager is where it happens. So I'm just a guy in the corner office. He took my job about 10 years ago. But anyway, that being said, we're going to have to move all our infrastructure out there. First to go will be the offices. Then we start digging right there where you see the end of the landfill right now, moving south. The offices have to go within 2 years, so we're on a very tight schedule. DEP's aware of that. They kind of held us up a little bit the first time around. So we're hoping they won't hold us up too much this time around. Eventually then, the existing C&D transfer station will have to move. That'll be next. What will stay there is the water tank, the fire system, and then the single stream will get combined with a new transfer station, which we're going to build up there. We'll bring those site plans back to you. I'm going to have to come back anyway because I owe you guys a visit, an annual update, and that will be part of it. They're still preliminary now. We got a meeting, ASA has a meeting Thursday night with the building committee to have our proposed plan put to the committee to take a look at. Tuesday night, the selectmen are going to look at it. So I didn't want to be preliminary with anything that would change, knowing that I was going to have to come back. So to kind of get us in the swing of things, and everybody likes to hear about meetings, as I said, we hope to submit on April 18th. It's looking good. We're waiting for a test protocol to come back to us, and MEPA's going to issue us an advisory opinion on drainage, which they're all ready to go. We just have to submit it. And then DEP, we hand in to DEP. They have a total of 42 days to request additional. That's a request for additional time. We don't assume they're going to do that. We assume they're going to do that. They shouldn't have to, but they may have to. We submit to them. They've got 21 days to respond, and typically they respond as technically incomplete just because they have a few questions about some things that we're doing. Not unusual. And then upon DEP's determination of completion and issuance of technical comments, the proponents is to notify the abutters. So we have an abutters list all ready to go, obviously from the last time around. We'll get that out. Has to be published in the paper, local paper, and the Environmental Monitor. The public review period begins upon providing proof to DEP of that notification. That's when the clock starts ticking. Once we supply them with notification, it's done. They receive it, stamp it, boom, the clock starts ticking. DEP will accept public comments for the first 21 days of the review period. The public review period begins. At that point, they stop reviewing, or they stop accepting, and they review. They'll hand us comments that they get if they want technical review from us. We're allowed to change things that aren't substantial within the plan. If we have to change something substantial, we got to go back and start again. So we've had preliminary meetings with them. They've sat down. They know what we're doing, and they're in concurrence. We respond to comments that aren't, as I said, that aren't major during the first 40 days of the review period. So when that review period ends, we're ready to go. The DEP is to issue the report of their findings, once they do the receipt of public notice. The Board of Health is to commence the public hearing within 30 days of receipt of DEP's positive report. So in other words, when DEP issues the positive report to you guys, the site is suitable, that's when your clock starts ticking. And you guys have to publish within 30 days of receiving that, a notice of public hearing. You have 9 days to report to the local newspapers. And all, Katie's familiar with this, Caitlin, she knows exactly what to get in there and what needs to be said, and we'll help her with that, as we always do. Then from there, 21 days is when your public hearing clock starts ticking. Once that starts ticking, the board will render a decision within 45 days of initiating the public hearing. Now, there's times for starts and stops in there as well, but pretty much DEP kind of, they pretty much do whatever they want, but you guys have to follow this. It's kind of humorous, but now they do have time, and they give you time as well. And then once you guys come to a decision, assuming, either way you decide, you have to publish that within 7 days. So those are the highlights of what starts the clock ticking for DEP, for comments, reviews, starts ticking for us to get our comments, or their comments addressed, all takes time. And then finally, once they issue the site suitability report, then your clock starts ticking. So we're thinking that, where we just went through this a couple of years ago, a lot of those questions got answered. We are talking about putting in essentially three buildings, two separate buildings. We're talking about creating pervious and impervious areas, which are going to affect drainage. So we've designed overabundance of a drainage out there. We have the room, so we're going to do it. And we won't have any problems with that. But those are just some of the questions that we have to answer. Any questions on any of that stuff?
Well, I'd like to hear Katie's comments first, because I have lots of questions, Dan.
Oh, boy.
No particular comments. It's just, it feels like a lot. It's not really that bad of a process. Barbara, you were here for
Oh,
the
yeah,
last
I
one.
was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're long meetings.
Yeah. So I'll wait for you to see. I have a lot of comments, but I don't know if anybody else has any. All right. Dusty, do you? All right, well, I have a lot of questions, Dan.
Shoot.
And for the board.
I'll do my best. That's why I brought Asa with me.
Well, this is a site assignment, so shouldn't we be meeting we should be meeting as a state board, like we did the last time, I would
Yep.
think?
That's in the
So
regs.
Yeah, so we need an attorney. I'd like to use the same
Yep.
attorney we had the
Yep.
last
So
time.
that
Oh,
will,
I was going to get to that, Barbara. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
all right,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's okay.
And then, so I'm speaking about the last one too, because I believe, before we go on to a new one, we have to make sure the old one, you're in compliance with the old site assignment we did, and I'm not sure, but I'd like a written report of the requirements of the last site assignment, and, like a written report, and confirming that they're all completed, because I think there's a couple, I don't know, because I don't have the
There
list on
are,
the top of my
yeah.
head, but like even, it was supposed to be, the septic system thing that didn't get recorded, like everybody that had, or wells, it was
Oh,
either septics
the
or
well
wells.
hookups, yeah.
Yeah,
We were-
so I would say, like to me, any site assignment that you wanted to do would be denied by us, because if the other one isn't done, like, it's because, I don't know, I'm just saying, like, we need to know that the other one's in compliance, or efforts have been made to get it done.
Yep.
I'm just thinking of that, like, and again, I didn't know if you had a package of, like, the site assignment report that you're submitting, so that at least we can have a preliminary look at it.
Yep, there's a
Just-
couple of things that we have to do, the annual report
Yeah.
coming to you. The sewer notifications were a little bit problematic for us. I mean, we had drawn up a plan, which we'll bring to you, where we take on all the expense, we print the signs, but there was some language in there about us going to the Board of Registrars and putting notes on people's deeds. I don't think we have the authority to do that. That'll
Yeah, so we can
probably-
talk about all that when you
Yeah.
do the report. Yeah, I just want to go over it, just so we're all clear, because there's a lot of people that weren't here
Yep.
before. Just to make, I think it'll ease the path if we all, okay,
Absolutely.
this is what we did last time, this is everything you've done,
Yep.
like, and again, whether we have to meet as a state board to modify anything from the last site assignment, we may need to, because I think any changes to that require us to meet as a state board, because that's how we issued it. But again, I'd like to just use the same attorney we used the last time, Tip Torres,
reach out, yeah.
yeah. And then I can go through all that with you too, because you weren't here in the last one with the Tip Torres. And then the other thing was, so I have our attorney, the written report of the conditions from the last site assignment, and what efforts, or what's completed, or what's efforts, or even, like, you can go through the challenges you've experienced, or why something isn't done. And then what do you call that last parcel? Is it 12? I know it has a number, like something in your mind, you call it something.
Yeah, that's in the motion.
Yeah, is it
actually,
12?
the
I didn't read, I
suggested
haven't looked
motion.
at the motion yet, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay, that's okay.
Oh, 12 acres, yeah.
Yep, 12 acres, map 32, parcel 5.
Oh, parcel 5, okay, sorry. And then, what else I have? Yeah, so I think we have to meet as a state board.
You do, that's in the regs.
Yeah.
That's absolutely.
I know, some of these I'm just saying out loud so that everybody can hear it, because, just because there's a lot of fresh faces here. And then can you remind me, when was the last annual update you gave?
I'd have to look, to be honest with
Okay.
you, Barbara. I
Yeah, no,
don't
that's
know.
fine. Like I said,
But I
these
know
are
it's
all-
due.
I know this is a fun project. It takes a lot of time and a lot of meetings and a lot of special ones, so that's why I'm just,
Yep.
Kate, do you remember?
So to say, I usually have something in my drive and I'll
I
check.
feel like it was a while ago, like,
while
it's
ago,
25,
yeah.
24, maybe 23 or 22? I don't know.
I still got all the whole booklets
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
I know the
My
first
one-
report that I gave, I wasn't really sure what everybody wanted. And so I gave a report, and I never really got any feedback as to whether it was good, bad.
Oh, I have
or
that written
indifferent.
down too, that's one of my next,
Yeah. I mean, if you want, I can
I
can just give you a preliminary list, and then you guys can say, might trigger things in your mind that you may want to see other than what I put down.
I mean, I think that's helpful, and then the other thing that I like to have is last time you gave us all printed materials, like of all the, I mean, it was like a lot of stuff. Like the printed materials are helpful, because then we can write on them and put our comments, like even reading the report. Like, it does come electronically, but I think I printed it for everybody the last time. I made copies of some, of the, I think it was what, I can get you the name of it. Off the top of my head, I don't know what it's called, but
Yeah.
I made copies so that we could all look
Yeah,
at
no,
them.
get
Yeah.
it to me, and I can print it for sure.
I'll have to
Get it
think of the
over.
name of it, but it's just escaping me right now.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I just had printed copies of the materials
Okay.
for us to review, because it's easiest to see in print.
Yeah, I
me
mean,
anyway.
what my intent is we're putting things together now so that we can move forward.
Yeah.
I want to go back, look at the site assignment, probably, and as I said, I'd like to get something submitted to you guys to look at what that annual report is, because I had a hard time with it, and I ended up with something that thick, and then I said, this isn't good, they don't want to hear that, I'm trying to figure
I
out
think that's a
what you
great
guys wanna
idea.
hear.
I think that's a great
So-
idea. And then Katie, you can give it to Katie and she can pass it on to us.
Yep.
And then if we have any other comments, we'll just.
Turn around and give it back to me, and I can get you what you want.
Yeah, because you brought up a good point, because a lot of people weren't here the last time, but there was the final document. Are you able to give us 5 copies of that
The final site assignment?
from the last time?
Absolutely.
Too, because that way, if people need to look at it from last time, at
Yep.
least they'll have it, the final version of it.
Absolutely.
I know what that consisted of. I
I
filled
know,
it.
I printed it the last time.
Well, no,
For me and
but
Stanley.
it ate up, by the time we were done, it ate up a whole milk crate
Yeah,
full of
it's at
files.
least 500 pages.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
think
So do you want to see the final site assignment?
no,
or do
you
wanna
know what,
see-
I'll go through it, and actually, why don't I go through it and send you a list that I
I
think.
have all the hard copies of everything that was done during that whole process too in the
There's
office.
just one thing, there's a certain section that I think people that are here
So
need
like
to
the
look at.
final or like conditions and everything like
Yeah,
that? Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
'cause
I can pull that for, I think I have it electronically, so I can send it, but also we do have a hard copy in the office that can always be referred to.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and then we'll
Yeah.
decide if we need to print them all.
Yeah.
But I think that will be helpful for everybody to see.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's the final site assignment I have here.
Yeah.
That's obviously not what you're looking for.
No, no.
No, I mean, the final document, just to kind of put it in perspective, the final document we submitted was between 2,500 and 3,000
Yeah,
pages.
that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's just something else,
Stuff
it's
I
like this
have at home
condensed
for that.
version that, I'll get the name of it, and it
Yeah.
sounds like Katie has more of what I'm thinking of anyway.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, and did you find the last date he was here for an update or no?
The most recent report we could find was 2021.
Probably was. I wouldn't doubt it.
021? Okay. Yeah, I guess we probably want that too.
Well, that was the old assignment, though. I
That's
mean,
what I was thinking.
No, you're.
I
oh,
thought it
that
came
was-
in under the new
I feel,
assignment, and it wasn't, because we never really gave.
I think you did come in. I think you may have come in once.
I did, because under the site assignment before the one we have on the landfill now,
3 maybe?
could have been,
Could have been in 23. Yeah, I think it could have been.
but you had put that in there, and we had never done it before, so I wasn't really sure what you wanted, do you want financials, do you want progress reports, do you want quantities, tonnages? I don't know. Or where we're going in the future, probably a little bit of all.
So we'll we'll ask the
I was like,
team.
you were here in 23 for the correction stuff.
I thought I gave a report.
I thought
there
you did
somewhere.
as well. I'll try and find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was the first one we had ever done. Mm-hmm. I'll look back at my records. I should have dug that up. I
Yeah,
apologize for
we'll
that.
ask the team to get, we'll ask the team at the health department to try and find it for us.
It'll be in my memo file for sure, so.
Jan, we know you're good with your paperwork.
What's that?
We know you're good with your paperwork.
You have to be. Who?
So I guess the question I have for internally here is, like, I know Dan's looking for a vote, you know, we have to do the vote to submit all our expenses, but do we have to, I think we need to vote to hire Tip Torres too.
Well, if you-
Stephen,
there-
yeah.
you
I'm
didn't-
sorry, I'll let you continue.
You got
Sorry,
most of it. I'm
catching-
getting there.
ahead.
Yeah,
I'm-
we'll do the, I think, motion for the finances is definitely a go-to, and then based off of that, we can reach out and give a quote and see if he'd be interested.
I think we have to do multiple too.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll definitely do at least get everything settled now, and then reach out to.
I know, just, my brain's going now like 100 miles
Because
an hour.
he'll talk
think
about
of
that,
all
we're
the
gonna
things
need
we have to do.
some technical assistance as well, so.
Yeah.
Can I
You
just
let
ask
me get there.
Why we would use an outside attorney instead of town council?
Because town council works for the town,
Yeah.
and we're meeting as a state board, so we have to be independent.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll have
Yeah.
to, I'm unfamiliar with that process,
Yeah.
not becoming a state board. so-
Yeah.
And Tim Torres, his name's Stephen Torres, he goes by Tip. He did the last site assignment, and he's familiar, he does a lot of site assignments. He's very familiar with
The
our
process.
town,
Okay.
like the process in our town, so
Okay.
it'll be an easier path. And plus, he's familiar with all like the criteria and stuff like that.
Okay, thanks, I was just
It
curious.
was actually wonderful, but again, I think we have to do multiple anyway, so we'll give everybody a
Yeah.
chance. We'll give anybody who will submit a chance.
If you want to, you can look at 310 CMR 1620, and those are the public hearing regs. And it breaks it down into general criteria, and it breaks it down into large handling facilities, which is what we're going for, not landfill. So those criteria are a little bit different, but it also goes into what entails the state, you becoming a state board and why, and, you know, what the reasoning is for that. The other thing that you'll see in there are the things that you have to do, which Barbara has already touched on. One thing that you didn't get to was hearing officer. You guys are in charge of appointing the hearing officer. You have to get your counsel, and then you have to get outside. Well, you don't have to, but you're certainly within your purview to get an engineer to look at the plans that you're gonna get, to go over what we're proposing for technical review.
Dan,
Yes.
are we gonna have opposition like we did on the first go-around with that group? I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I don't know,
What group,
Dusty.
what group is it?
Oh, they were located in the western part of the state. They didn't want us to have what we have, okay?
I'd say we should suspect anybody that has an interest in that to show up, right? I would
No,
think,
they, every time we had a meeting, they were listening
Oh,
in.
the third-party one you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
They were granted into the process by the hearing officer interveners.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, and you'll see that again in the regulations. They're regulations, but, you know, to me, they're very interesting. They're not a hard read.
Yeah.
They're pretty practical, especially when you guys are heading into this process. So, you know, if you get time, take a look. But they are regulations, things that I might like to read, you may not, for obvious reasons. But let's talk a little bit about the technical fee. What you got in your handout was what DEP mandates. It's designed, you know, I'll editorialize for a second, but it's designed to protect the proponent, you know, private companies and stuff, as well as you guys, to make sure you get what you need, but that the proponent doesn't get fleeced, I guess, if you'll say, if that's what you want to say. But the bottom line is, we're all on the same team, we work for the same place. To technically figure out what the maximum should be, for the technical fee, 19,500. It starts out at 3,000, that's the base value. Then you multiply it by the tons per day that the facility's capable of receiving, $20. So it breaks down to 3,000 plus 16,500. That gets you 19,500. Then it's adjusted for BCPI, Boston Consumer Price Index. That gets it up to 5276. The next calculation is the public hearing fee. That, obviously, you're hiring a hearing officer, so that's gonna cost you a little bit of time. He's gonna put some time in putting it together. It's a pretty involved, process. That's 50% of the technical fee, 26,133. So all in,
78,000.
78,400. But we're not, I mean, I don't know, how do we say that? We're not in, we all work for the same place. You're gonna get what you need to get this done. And that's the bottom line. I was told that when I came here 24 years ago, give them what they need. So, and I agree with that 100%. There's no sense in arguing about it. If you just take a quick look at the motion, just a couple of quick highlights. The first sentence is, move that the town of Bourne Board of Health submit for payment to the town of Bourne Department of Integrated Solid Waste Management all invoices incurred by the Bourne Board of Health for implementation of the ISWIM technical and/or public hearing fee necessary to complete its review. So that takes care of it right there. All you do is submit bills. There's no counting, oh boy, we're up to 75,000, we better go back. Then we have to stop, go back, meet again, you guys need to approve, blah, blah, blah. So we just take care of that right up front with the motion. It's done.
I have a question on that. So could you not move forward with your site assignment until you have this motion?
We have to check the box. This is one of
Okay,
the,
so here's my question for us. So you still owe us stuff, in my mind, from the last site assignment. So by doing this, we're letting you advance on the new one without being sure that the old one is, like,
all this does is approve,
I know, but it gets you,
Payment.
it starts the process
it
going.
allows us to move forward with the
On
process.
the new one,
Correct.
which
But we
means
can't
that-
go anywhere if,
Right, so it means our hands are tied, because now we don't have clarification on the old one, but we're moving forward on a new one. So that means we set the clock ticking on for us. And it has no,
well,
but, hold on, Dan. But, and it's, the last site assignment was done in, what year, 2022? We haven't gotten even an annual, well, I'd be done, but, we haven't gotten an update from the 22 version, it's 2025. So it's like, I'm hesitant to vote to move forward on the new one, which if we vote on this motion today, we have no matter what, now we're like on this new one and Dan still hasn't finished, I'm saying Dan, but I'm just using
No,
this
you're
in
right.
general.
Go ahead.
Like, and we still don't even know what happened with the old one because he never reported on him, and it was required annually. So I, in my opinion, I'd like to, get that first,
Okay, that's fair.
so.
How much would it take for you to get us approval on that, not approval, the information required from the old one?
well, I think Barbara's referring to the annual report.
Yeah, basically the written report of the conditions of the that would be in your annual report. Like
Correct.
what the conditions were from the original one, regardless if they were modified or not. But like what is in our the original thing, and like a report on all of those.
We'll go back and I'll go back and take a look at the original. When you say the original prior to the new one in 2022. And I don't believe, I'm speaking out of school, but I don't believe there was a requirement for an annual report. That was in the latest.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one that we voted on, the one that was
Right.
the last one.
That's the first one.
Yeah, the one, and then you came back before the board in 2023.
Yep.
And that was in the site assign, that was part of the criteria, But again, there's a whole new board, so I wanted to start with like the thing that is the criteria. And like I said, if there was a reason, whether you did it and what you did to accomplish that. If you didn't do it, like where your challenges are and how you plan to do it. And if you didn't do it because there was some change to the scope of the criteria, that kind of thing.
Yep. No, the biggest thing for me is gonna be to get from you guys what you want. I never knew what you wanted, and frankly, I think the first time around, I didn't get much out of that either, but I don't
Yeah.
think the board was happy. So I wanna
I
make
hear
sure
you.
that I get that right. And, once I look at that, I can knock that out in a week.
Yeah.
As far as, you're gonna have to tell me what you want, though, for documents. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, I think I'd have to talk to the chair, I think I'd have to.
Right, where there were a set of conditions that were to be met
Yeah.
as a result of the last vote, maybe just a
Yeah.
summary of
And one of
that. I
those-
think that's what Barbara's referring.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking about. Like, that was one of those things, was like, there was something about the wells that was supposed to be
Yeah, we're gonna label the
some other
wells, yeah.
things. So it's like, yeah, what they're, there's more than that. I think there's like 15 there's a whole list of them.
So,
There's a number of them,
yeah, a
like 20
summary
of
of the
them.
progress on each of the conditions, I would
Yeah.
guess, yeah, and then,
I don't know how many there were.
that's fair request.
I feel like there's like,
Yeah, condition 15, ISWIM shall take affirmative action to ensure that all public and private wells in the areas described, referred to in the site assignment decision as being connected to the public water supply are properly labeled via a permanent placking as not available for potable water.
yeah, Dan, can you remind me how many conditions are there?
There's 16, 14 was rescinded, so there's,
But you need to leave 14 on, you need to leave that one on there too, though. Anything that we put as I would say any of the conditions in that report that apply to,
The
Well,
board
that
voted
was
to rescind that
rescinded,
condition, though.
yeah.
again, but I still want it on there because it's the original one and why you didn't do it. Because then it's a full report for everybody, because we voted on it. So when you're reporting to us,
I
as
think
these
if
new
you-
people, I know,
I can
But that's
bring that
gonna-
all up.
yeah.
I gotta be honest with you folks, this is gonna kill us. We're not gonna make it.
Well,
So we're doing the best we can, and I'm not really sure that we're violating anything that we can do. I did not report to you, I'll give you that, but some of the things that are here, I can't really cause an annotation on somebody's deed. I can't
well, we
do
don't know that. That's why we need to,
Go
know
back to
why
the
you didn't know.
decision.
We need to discuss it with with council, I think.
Go back to the rescission of the original, it was illegal, we couldn't do it.
Well, we
The
didn't have.
finance director couldn't do it,
Again, that was all town council. We didn't have council. So regardless of what happened, we still didn't have council. We met as a state board and didn't have council. So we should have the opportunity to make that decision as a state board ourselves.
Okay, well,
That's all I'm saying. Like, I just don't want to,
so I guess from
I want to
you,
make sure we cover our bases, because we could be in violation too, because we're supposed to meet as a state board. That has other ramifications on each of us. That's why I'm so concerned, because we're not representing the town, we're representing the state, basically meeting as a state board, and we could have personal ramifications for that. That's all. I just want to be careful.
yeah, I think.
And I think we should be entitled to that, quite honestly, because it's not our fault that you didn't give us an annual report or come to one of the board members, because, we're always open to talk to you.
Yep, absolutely.
So
No
just asking for us for a couple of
We'll
weeks.
do our best.
Yeah, just asking for a couple, like even a week, a couple of weeks, because our next meeting is when, Katie?
The 9th of April.
So maybe we can just get you on the agenda for the 9th then?
Yeah, no, I'll go through, see what I'm remiss in, what I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
I'll get that to Katie, make sure you guys have it. The annual report, I'll put some parameters down for what I think you might want to see, and that might trigger in your minds, oh no, we want to see this, we want to see this. That way you can get it back to me and I can get it put together. I don't want to show up again without having any idea what you guys are looking for.
And then that brings up another question, Katie, because obviously because before we meet on the 9th, or, because we will have to talk to council, Tip Torres, just to make sure that before we move forward on the new one, that,
Well, we don't have a budget for that. He's not our legal counsel.
Right, or, I keep
Yeah.
saying Tip, but I'm just, I should change that to our counsel, because I don't know who it is, I'm just using him,
Yeah,
because
we
he was
could,
the
we
last
could
one.
ask town council for a legal opinion on the stuff.
So, but we can't ask our town council. We can't ask our town council, because he represents the town. We can't ask our town council about something about this, because that's a conflict.
On legal advice on,
Yes, that's a conflict, because he represented the town on the rescission, so that's a conflict of interest for him, because that decision, we were at a state, I know it sounds confusing, but the decision that we made was as a state board. And when the rescission was made, and again, it could, like I said, we're focusing on the rescission, I'm just talking about really all the conditions, not just that. But whoever is our council, our new council, still needs to read through the last site, the conditions, and give us an opinion on whether, because even, Dan's saying now that he couldn't do one of the conditions, so that's two decisions that couldn't be done?
We can do it, there's just things I can't do.
Right,
I
and
can't
that's why-
annotate anyone's deed, so that would have to be the Board of Health. It's easily resolved, but
Yeah,
it's
but
just a matter of
again,
language.
we're just hearing about this now, like at the 11th hour, and it's tying our hands, because you want to move forward with the other one, but we didn't even know you couldn't do that. We're hearing about this for the first time. So, I mean, I hope you would understand that.
No, hey, it is what it is.
We want to be fair to everybody involved in the process.
It is what it is.
And I just, like I said, I don't know, I think we need separate counsel for it.
I'll have to reach out to town administration because we do not have a budget for separate counsel.
So, which means that, because we got separate counsel when we did this last
That's
time.
included in the site assignment process, which is voted onto this motion that,
Okay,
so the same type of thing for the last process, when we opened
Okay.
up the whole process.
okay, so no matter what, so it sounds like a condition of this new one then we should put that, any follow-up questions that be included in the motion. Like even this motion that we made has to say that, and we submit to them any future expenses, related to the site assignment regardless, even after the site assignment is either approved or denied. Because, and we'd say, and I think this motion then should have, and to hire outside counsel immediately as part of this motion that, because again, it sounds like you can't do anything, it sounds like you can't do anything
Yeah, I mean,
until we have, I'm just like,
No, I know.
Yeah.
Let me interject a little bit here on Iceland's behalf and the town's behalf. We should probably have town council look at this and sort this out so that we know what we can and can't do.
Yeah,
We're
and-
all making assumptions, and I missed that day of law school, so.
yeah, I guess, like I said, our town council is fabulous, but this, though, his opinion is a conflict of interest for the site assignment for us. So that's why his opinion on this.
Yeah,
the
that may
opinion
be
is-
true, Barbara.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's a
I mean,
conflict.
It may
because-
not be true.
Well, it is true, because he's the attorney for the town. We're not meeting as the Board of Health, we're meeting as for the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, after 4 years
Yeah, like I
of
said,
doing this,
I'm not sure,
really
I'm not 100% sure either, but,
what the state designation means or what the parameters are of that state designation.
yeah, so I do, because we did it last time. And it's basically, we have a lot more liability, the five of us, than if we were meeting as like for the town,
Right.
everything for the town, we asked Brian.
Right.
We asked his firm. So I guess, I don't know. I'd rather have at least delay.
Can we ask the town council to see if we need to get an outside counsel or no?
What?
Yeah, that's
No,
what, I
say
would
that
say that would
again?
be first step.
So can you ask the town council to provide an opinion whether an outside counsel is needed or not?
No, because
No?
that's still a conflict, because if he says no, we do need outside counsel, I already know that, because we needed it the last site assignment.
Okay.
We 100% have to have our own counsel. We don't have a budget for it right now. So the question is, that means we need to put it in this motion, or we need to make a motion before this one, 2 motions. Maybe we need separate motions.
I think it
Yeah,
probably,
instead of
we need to
combining.
do that,
Yeah.
yeah. okay.
So the question is, we either need to make separate motions, or we need to, like, do the other motion first. Or I don't know. Maybe we just need to research that, and then maybe you come back on, no matter what, he has to come back with his report anyway. So we'll figure out the motion by the 9th. How's that sound? Because I think we have to do a little research too, and we need to walk through the requirements and the parameters, and that gives everybody a chance even here to read 310 CMR 1620 and what it means for the landfill assignment. Does that sound fair, Dan?
Absolutely.
And then that way on the 9th, could be a non-issue, or, you know what I mean? That gives everybody a chance to read, that wasn't here, to read the criteria and kind of look at the old one, the old conditions of the report. Because a lot of people, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of information. I mean, Dusty was here the last time too, and it's really a lot of reading and things you have to learn and kind of get up to speed on. And this is just, this is the last parcel, right, Dan? 5?
This is it.
Yeah,
For the
yeah, so it
landfill,
gives a chance in the next 2 weeks for us all, because it was a long time ago. And as you can tell, I'm like thinking of names and not remember, even I have to look at the thing again. It just gives us a chance to like catch up, the people that weren't here and us, and then it gives you a couple weeks to do the report. So I think if you come on the next meeting though, that will give you enough time, right? To do your
I think
process?
so.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Like,
get
I'm not saying delay
complicated.
forever. Yeah, I know,
I
I
can't-
know, and I'm sorry, I don't.
Lawyers are gonna,
Yeah, it's complicated, and I just, like I said, I just want to give everybody a chance to catch up, and then make sure that we're not inadvertently moving forward with something that we could ultimately harm ourselves. Because I can say it was a big deal that we met as a state board, because we still have to keep all our stuff, and we still have to, we can't throw that stuff away, we have to, keep it, and things like that. It's like, and we do need to meet separately. It's like a higher level, even with the public, even the scrutiny it's under, so. I just want to make sure we're not stepping out of line on it.
Okay.
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions?
No, I agree.
But then again, it's not, I just want to make sure we're doing the right thing, that's all.
So then we need to move the table of discussion till the next meeting.
Are you
Continue.
okay with that? Like, do you have any other comments? Like, I just feel like,
Well, do we need to move to hire the other attorney at this point in time?
but we don't have a, I
don't
think
have
we
a
should
budget,
make,
I mean,
I think we should make a motion to do it, because then we at least have the option.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, we're going to we can make the motion that we at least, but we don't have a budget for it, so, and the bill gets paid by ISWIM. The bill gets paid by him, so, by the ISWIM, so
But
we could.
we have to
add
make a
on-
motion to accept that. I mean,
I know.
Again, we're an enterprise fund, so we can't just give you guys
Yeah, I
money.
know, no, I know that.
And we also want the same attorney firm that did the original, because they have the information and dealt with it.
Yeah, that's the only other thing too, it gives us a chance to read, because I'm not sure too, last time when we did the site assignment, we did have to put the bid out to be,
Yeah,
We had
and
to put
we'd
the bid
have
out,
to
but
start
we-
all over again
but we
if
may
it goes
still
on.
have to put the bid out to 2 firms or 3 firms, I don't remember. But it gives us the time to like read, what read
Digest
the 16.20.
Yeah, I think a decision of this magnitude warrants a little bit more time, and I understand you're under the gun there, Dan, but
Do what we can
if you
do.
could come back in a couple of weeks, the next meeting, maybe with the report, right? The
Yep.
update, and then
And we can figure out what our ducks are.
we can
yeah.
figure out, well, it'll give us time to catch up, and frankly, this is, it's a much bigger, consideration than I realized, so I'd like to be able to familiarize myself with the whole thing, and then I'm sure Miguel as well, and Margaret, who's not here, but, so, given that, do we still need to, so I need a motion for that, but what
Yeah.
about the attorney piece? We have to settle on that.
I don't know, because how do we,
Phrase it.
how do we, this is just speaking general, how do we make sure, unless the motion, like basically whatever, I mean, no matter what, the attorney, we should be able to have an attorney anyway to use if issues come up regarding the site assignment, any site assignment that we've done that is still not completely done, no matter what. And I don't know if that is in the like, how is the last thing handled for the attorney for the, because you would need to be able to, if like anything came up that we needed advice on for the site assignment, if these can't just end, because what happens if something blows up and we need to talk to an attorney?
Yeah, I mean, there's, if I could suggest, you might want to talk to town council. He's not going to be in a conflict of interest because the law is the law, but he will guide you as to where you want to go and how to get there. Otherwise.
I don't understand what you're saying, but where we want to go and how do we get there?
Yeah, do you want to hire outside attorney? How do you do it?
Oh, we know how to do it. We know what we
Yeah,
need to
well,
do,
you
but.
have to do it
but-
within the limits of the law. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know. That's
So
what gives
he-
us the chance to read the thing.
So he has to represent you in that respect. He's, you know,
Well, that's why we were all gonna give us a chance to read 310 CMR 1620 and do our own. 'Cause
Exactly.
we have to know, we have to be knowledgeable to ourselves in order to talk to town council. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And who knows, we may start with him first, but without us reading.
just to kind of get some direction. I mean, you don't have to, he's not going to tell you what to do, but
Exactly.
certainly he's a free resource to get some
Oh, yeah,
direction.
no, we know that. We think he's wonderful. We think he's wonderful. And on a positive note, we think the ice swim's wonderful too. I went down, it's looking great. And it's nice and, Asa does a great job. Like, like I said, I think we just need to, I personally need to read a little bit more about the large handling facility and what the difference is from the last one we did. And just refresh my mind on what's there.
Okay.
So I don't know what motion we make, if any.
I guess we can, just move to table it until the next time around, and then until the next meeting.
Yeah, I would think so, right? Will that give you enough time, Dan? Because I think if we wait any longer, because you can't submit the site suitability report until we make this motion, is that correct?
We can't submit it, no. We'll keep moving forward to obtain the reports that we haven't got yet, to check the box. And
Okay,
that's what we're doing here tonight, we need
until,
to check that box, so.
So he can't even start the process until we do that. I also don't want to tie our hands if we do need counsel. So I guess I'd like to read this first. I'd like to read on the thing about, and Katie, you don't know if the fees stay open for anything else, right?
I'm looking for the motions from the last one. I'm not finding the 2022 stuff, but the last one for that parcel, the 100-acre parcel in 2002, had basically the same motion that you have in front of you tonight,
Okay.
which didn't include any continuance of, like, open fees.
Is that what we did in 2022?
I'm trying, yeah, I'm
All right,
looking for
so
that motion.
2022.
Mhm.
Yeah, that, actually, and that gives me an idea for this other motion too. But, yeah, I think, like, basically, I guess respectfully, I would request that at least we have a couple weeks to catch up on, like, the CMR he mentioned. It gives him the chance to do the report and go from there. And then, I mean, it sounds like we can't really, this is the motion that approves attorney's fees,
Right.
but we can figure that out in the interim, anyway.
Okay. Want to take a crack at it?
Oh, even just,
Motion?
well, we're not doing this
No, we're
motion
not
though,
doing,
yeah.
so no, we don't need a motion.
I think we need to make discussion and possible vote on topics regarding new site assignment for large. I would say,
Delay.
To continue the discussion at the next meeting.
I would just say, I guess I would just make a motion to continue, have Dan the ice swim come back with an update on in a written report of the conditions of the last site assignment as they were written, the original one, and regardless, if they were modified, changed, or completed, just give us a detailed explanation of what he did to accomplish that, whether they were done, if they're done, what he did to accomplish that, if it wasn't done, or if it was modified, explain the details of that. I'm saying, explain the details because some people weren't here, and it will be a nice little roadmap for everybody. And then, you know, so that would be basically this annual update, that, and then anything else that was done over the past, I think it was here 2021.
2021 is when we started the process. 2022 was
Yeah,
the actual site assignment, and then the last time he was here was 2023.
Okay, so I would say, but the last annual update was 21? I could just say,
Of the original landfill site assignment or the expansion?
well, I would just say maybe give us an update of, you know, for everybody's benefit, like the progress, like just, you know, you used to do that before, like, you know, anything that you think is important that happened on the in your area at the ice swim that you want to tell us about, and if you're unclear, you can just come to us, or Katie.
Yeah, like I said, I can write up a list of things that I'll be presenting to you, and if it triggers something that
Yeah,
else
that-
you want to see.
Yeah, exactly, that's
That's fine.
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect, Dan. And then, I think that's it, right? So let me rephrase it again. Okay, I guess I'll make a motion to, suspend discussion on this until Dan comes back. The ice one comes back with a written report of the conditions of the last site assignment, anyone that was in the original site assignment, with the progress made on that, and if progress, you know, for each of the, I would say for each of those criteria. And then, provide us with an annual update, of items, any additional items that, the ISPM wants to notify or discuss with the board. That's it.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We got a second?
Yes.
Dusty? Yes. Bob? Yes.
Yes, me too.
Barbara? Sorry, yes.
If I may, through the chair, when you say that the original and the last one, are you talking about the original 2022 and the new 2022, or are you talking about going back to 2005?
No, I'm just talking about the one from 2022, because did you meet all the conditions for 2005?
Okay, no, we did, I mean, that was.
I mean, since you brought it up, you might as well, if you already have it written
Well,
down.
I
You
do,
probably
but
already have
it's-
it written down.
It's not in effect anymore. Once you
Yeah.
expand over top of another one,
Oh,
the
then we don't need
conditions
it, okay.
apply. So it does, that's, I'm
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
just
fine,
confused.
yeah.
I'm thinking you want to look at the original 22 and the revised 22, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go put this together, and then if I have any questions, I'll give Caitlin a call and get to it on the 9th, and hopefully we have everything.
Yeah, and if she's unclear, she can reach out, you know, she'll reach out to the chair or whoever.
All right,
Very
thank you,
good.
Dan. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Dan.
All right.
Okay, next agenda item is number 4, any public comment on non-agenda items? Nobody in the audience, and anybody on Zoom for a non-agenda item comment? No. Okay, number 5, Health Director's Report.
Alright, so nothing big to report. Just wanted to let you guys know that on Monday, we did go down to 22 Marsh Pond to post the unfit for human habitation placard to the door. That the final decision that you guys voted for on Friday was sent to the owner of record, Mr. Charles Samalas, and the occupant, Mr. Eldridge, as well. And we have notified town administration and Bourne Police that those orders are in effect.
So they're not in there, correct?
I cannot confirm that right now, but police will be watching. Neighbors, I'm sure, will call to let us know, and will do.
Mrs. Lamb,
Okay, right, who is ultimately responsible for assuring that they are not there?
So your orders indicated that they needed to be to vacate within 24 hours of that decision.
Right.
The Board of Health has the authority to ask the local police department or state police department to assist with removing of people if they refuse to leave or return to the dwelling.
Right.
So we don't know, so we're unclear?
I can't confirm that there's a person in there currently, or not. When we were there, no one came to the door. There was a dog in the house when I posted the placard.
I'm not sure, can we make a motion on something it's on the health director's
So,
report?
yeah, nothing that
Yeah.
can be, just an update on you guys. If you want to discuss it further, we can definitely do that at the next meeting.
That's 2 weeks from now.
An update on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give you an update, but within the code, that lies with you anyways, so that's within your orders. So if a police route was needed, we could take that.
Oh, so we don't need a vote for that?
Nope, it's within the code. Mhm.
That's the question, Bob. Whether
Yeah.
you think, I mean, we did an emergency order, and to make it, maybe we should have the police do it? Because
Yeah.
other than that, if
That's
we
what
wait
I'm
2 weeks,
wondering.
we didn't make it much of an emergency.
Right, we want to make sure that there is nobody there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe the police could check daily or every other day.
They'll be working with them. They are actively working with them on a different issue of their own as well, so,
Who's they?
the police department.
You
Wait, but
working?
what about forcibly, what is this, the removal, though? I guess I'm confused on that, then. Like, can we
Right.
say we want the police to remove them?
That is within your right, and it's within the code that's allowed per your orders that you've already made.
So that's the question, like, we had said it was a safety issue. If we
Right.
don't remove them at this point, then,
That's what I mean, how do we know that
Well,
they're
that's,
there?
if evidence arose that there were people within the dwelling, then we would take that route.
okay, all
But
right,
until
then,
we have
yeah.
evidence, we would not, yes.
Okay, all
Mhm,
right, yeah, that's why I was
mhm.
confused, okay, all right.
So, it was- yeah, it was sort of depending on the neighbors.
So
to-
it's whatever they find, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
mhm. So
Okay.
yeah, but I can absolutely give you guys an update at the following meeting as well.
But we haven't had very easy things lately.
Mixing it up, right.
And then just a heads up for you guys, Barnstable County Tobacco Control Division did refer us for violations from this past weekend. That will be on our next agenda as well. So if you guys want to take that time to look over our regulations that were modified recently and kind of get up to speed on what our requirements are for violations of first offense, second offense, and, violations that pertain to sale under the minimum legal sale age.
Okay.
And where are those resources for us to?
I can send them to you. They're also on our website, but, I have nothing else right now.
Okay. And any comments from the board regarding future agenda items? This is agenda item number 6 here. Anybody?
Yes, I have several things.
Okay.
Even before what transpired today, I spent a significant amount of time going over this. I still felt that I could not provide any useful feedback. That's like if I gave you a medical textbook and asked you to take care of patients in the emergency room.
Right.
I need to make sure that whatever decision we make is beneficial for the community and is fair for the parts. I don't think that I'm being able to do that. So my question is, and this is just thinking, just like we have tools, the tools don't replace a human, but makes the human more effective. I strongly suggest that we consider software-based, what you call AI solutions that will look into the issues and provide recommendations based on the data we put in, which is basically the regulations from the state and the town and so on, because otherwise we cannot make decisions whether I feel like is good or not. What I feel is not important. It's really what it is,
Yeah.
the regulations, and now you're telling me I have to study like 3,500 pages for in 2 weeks while I'm seeing patients and doing different things. I don't know if I can do that.
I'll loan you my packet, okay?
I think we'll be getting an abridged version of,
Yeah.
the Cliff Notes. That's what we need is.
So, and that, I mean that for both items, and,
Right.
Michelle was extremely helpful when I reached out to her, and she provided clarification, but,
Yeah, that's a lot more
I don't want the
complicated than
town
I
being
realized.
taken advantage of, which is
Yeah.
what it felt like based on what you were very careful how you water it, but that's what it felt like.
And I think, too, think about that these two submissions that we had this week are very different from what a typical Board of Health submission would see. So with the preliminary subdivision plan, that was provided, and there's really no information in it. So how do you make a decision based off of that? Because it's just a preliminary packet here with actual no setbacks. There's not an actual house that's being built.
Yeah.
There's no floor plans. There's no septic system proposed right now. So you can't really make an informed decision based off of that. So it's just, they know that they're gonna be asking for variances, and we wanna think, okay, are these variances beneficial to the homeowner? Is it beneficial to the environment? Is the benefit going to hinder the environment and the people around us?
That's
I
why
have a
I'm worried
comment.
about that lot 6. I think it would do more harm to the environment than anything else.
But speaking to that too, that MAHB the MAHB.
I was just looking it
So
up.
basically, I think every board member is entitled to either log into that, is entitled to log in. So how many logins do you have, or do you have to get us a separate login? Because there's also, Katie, I can't get on, I can't see when it is. There's that the annual MAHB
Yeah.
program, which is very helpful, but we haven't had time, we seem to always miss the dates. It's like right around now sometime, I think.
Yeah, it looks like there's 3 that are offered this spring. One's April 5th, the 26th, and May 10th.
So maybe you can forward that to
Yeah.
the board, because the town will pay for that for us to go. Or I think any other things that we'd like to attend to.
Trainings, yeah.
But we don't
Mhm.
have access to MAHB because we need the login. Because
What
you
is
guys all have the
MHB?
same it's the Massachusetts Association of Health Boards. So it's
Okay.
basically like where you get information, like if you want to learn, like say if you wanted to learn something about this, they have classes, they have things like that. But do you guys each have separate logins,
So-
or is it one login?
So we all have separate, because it's a membership program. All the resources that are available on the website are available to anyone. Any classes that you want to participate in, will have to be paid for. So any of those classes that you're speaking of, we have to pay to be a part of them as well.
Yeah, but the town covers our cost
Correct,
and your
yes.
cost.
So if you see a class that you're interested in taking, let us know and we'll put in for that.
So why don't we get a membership for the board to use, one membership? So why,
So it's not a membership that a membership doesn't cover the classes.
no, I know that, but at least we can do, like,
You don't need a membership to access the website. I'm on
Oh.
it right now, not logged in.
oh, you don't?
No, yeah, mm-hmm.
So what's the login for? We were told that you needed a login.
They were gonna send you, oh, I don't know what that's referring
We were
to.
told, like, I guess years ago, that we needed a login. What's the
Maybe
login?
MHOA.
That might be, mahb.org.
It might be.
You can go in and access a lot of information on it.
What's the
It's very helpful.
MOC?
Massachusetts Officers of,
Mass Health Officers
yeah,
Association.
thank you. Always backwards.
I think it was the thing I'm thinking of.
MAHB is specifically for like the boards of health.
Yeah,
It's providing
that's what I'm thinking
information.
of.
They give
I'm
you,
thinking of that.
they give you different towns' resources, so their regulations, ideas for stuff, how to outline things.
The MAHB does that?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, and then can we also see, like on that, like, one of them gives you like, it does give you regulations and things like that that you
Yep.
can download, and it has the whole book, the
Yep.
MAHB book.
Mhm.
I think you have to be a member to get that, because what I did is, that's the thing I printed for all the board members, that book last time.
Okay.
But I don't think you can get it unless you're a member to the MAHB. That's the thing I'm thinking of, because that's like the MAHB, like,
So the
101?
Board of Health Guidebook.
yes. I think you can't
Right, yeah,
get it
so
unless
that's
you.
password protected. Yeah.
Yes, you
So
can
I
only get it
can,
if you're a member. So is there a way for the board to get a membership?
so I can verify that we have a health department login for it and not individual logins.
Yeah.
And then that can be shared with you
Because
guys.
that's why I printed it for everybody the last time, because it was so easy, it's easy to understand version of some of these things.
I think we have a hard copy in the office as well.
But that was so long ago.
It might
I
not be
think
the
you have to
updated
have
one.
updated it.
Give you a password.
But
Oh,
that would
okay.
really help you, because I used to go
Somewhere. I just did
sleuth out a lot of things,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm calling
We
it
can send it to them.
MAHB
Okay,
101. It's like, talks in English, and it's easy to understand, it like leads you to other things, but it like triggers your mind to say, oh, what about this, what about this? It even I think it even had something in there about site assignment. But we just never had, we as a board, never had login to it.
I'm very grateful you were here. I
Yeah.
mean, I had no idea whatsoever about this.
So,
It's a lot more
In
expansive.
part of the
And-
town, I would have
yeah.
thought that, it was just straightforward thing.
Yeah, and that's the concern too, is because we do have a higher level of, it's liability on us. That's why we want to be careful.
Yeah, so when that veered off into a
Yeah,
whole
lots of
world that I
things.
was not expecting.
But I think this
Turning
ADHD
into a state board.
Are you
and-
back yet?
Well, no, I mean, it was very informative and helpful, but you're right. I mean, we were correct, I think, in putting that on for a couple of weeks. I know they weren't real happy about it, but.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do it till the 18th anyway, so it gives
Okay.
him plenty of
Oh,
time.
all right, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
at the 18th, that he was wanting to submit it.
Oh.
Submission of the site assignment, because then it even gives us more time, if
So
something
then
else
it-
has to be done, we could always have another meeting before the 18th if we really needed to.
Yeah,
But it gives him, plenty of time.
okay.
So anyway, I would just say that, like, we could look at that, and Katie can, and the team, I'm just going to the team, can like figure out how do we log in?
Yeah, so we found the password information. It's,
Oh, so,
so just like to get into that page, there's a password, and then to access the actual PDF, there's a password. We
Oh,
have
so-
that saved that we can send you guys.
okay, perfect. Yeah, because I think that's really helpful, because to me, it just kind of explains it in English, and then you can prompt you if you need more. And then the other thing, Katie, do you mind sending us the class stuff?
Yeah.
Or we'll be able to see it on there anyway, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The other thing, I had the meetings with the upper TAC, I met with the students and so on. They will provide the coolers with the thermometers, even though everything that they're cooking is not requiring refrigeration, but that way we meet with the requirements. Is there anything else that I need to do besides finding the tables?
Finding what? You need a table?
They tell me that I needed tables.
So, okay. From a Board of Health, Health Department, Board of Health standpoint, there's nothing else that we need to account for?
What kind of table do you need?
I don't know, they told me they needed tables, so I'll bring tables from the church, that's not an
Oh, all
issue.
right, because folding tables too. if you need them.
So, but
So, yeah, I don't think.
I need to know, because I get pulled in many different
Yep.
directions, and I have patients, and I need to make sure this goes through, but, if there's anything else that I need to do.
I'll check to see if there's any comments from any other department. Let's see.
Do I need to appear before the Board of Selectmen? And
I believe you will, and they'll set that date for you.
And then sorry, can I add something?
Yeah.
So just so you know, even when we meet before the select board or any other board, if more than two of us are listening or attending, we have to make a motion to approve, or we have to make sure, because we can't, if the three of us there's three is a quorum.
Yeah.
If three of
Yeah.
us are in another meeting, it's a quorum, so we need to publicly say we're going to be participating.
Okay.
And some of the things I'm saying out loud, people already know, but I'm saying them, again, it just is a,
I don't see any other comments from any of the departments. The only department that hasn't signed off is the inspectional services, so the building department. I believe that the only thing that they would comment on is if you were using any tents. So, don't use tents and you won't have any problems. So I think.
They have this little.
The pavilion, yeah.
The pavilion, and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna use that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So I don't foresee it being an issue.
So do I need to go in and say that I'm not gonna use that? The application?
No, because I mean, you didn't reference any tents in the workflow in your application, so
Still
you
on
should be
that.
fine. I'm just gonna go with he hasn't looked at this review yet.
Okay.
But once that gets finalized, the select board hearing date would be triggered, so that's when Maria would reach out to you to schedule a time for you to come into a select board meeting.
Okay.
I spoke with Meg Payne as well. She said she's very excited.
Yes.
and you still haven't asked us for any help, so.
Oh, I did. Margaret went and talked to the Council of Agents, so they can't provide any volunteers, but they will provide her with the material, and she will do
Oh,
that
nice, all
part.
right, good, okay, good.
And then, depending on what the selectmen people tell me, I will ask you to be there.
Okay, of course, yeah, of course.
Okay. Number 7, approved minutes. Do we have minutes to approve?
Don't think
No?
we do, no.
We don't today?
No.
Okay. All right, I entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Miguel? Dusty? Yes. Bob, yes. Barbara? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, everybody.